Mustafa Muhammad wa ala al-baytihi tayyibin tahirin al-ma'sumin. Distinguished guests, brothers and sisters, dear viewers at home, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to another episode of Verses of Love, a show aiming to highlight the births and the martyrdoms of our holy, infallible Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. Verses of Love, be it a celebration or be it a martyrdom, we aim to bring the biggest and the best speakers and reciters around in order to give you a majlis outside of the majlis. And today I am delighted once again to be welcoming my friend and elder brother, Sayyid Ali al-Nawab. Assalamu alaikum, Sayyidina.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, my dear brother Mullah Ali.
As always, I've had in the last 2 months a lot of discussions with yourself, and there's a lot that I learn every time I sit next to you. So thank you very much for being on the show.
It's a pleasure, Mullah Ali.
Thank you. So just so you know, the dear viewers, we are commemorating the martyrdom of Lady Masooma alayhi salam, Lady Fatima al-Masooma alayhi salam. Now, you may look towards the shrine of Sayeda Masooma. You often hear the name Sayeda Masooma and you think, yes, respected lady, a high status within the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. Millions of people go towards her shrine every single year. In Qom, in Iran, she has a massive shrine. It's very, very elegant and beautiful, befitting a lady such as Lady Fatima al-Masooma alayhi salam. But little is known about her life. Sometimes we know that in the stories and the narrations, she traveled from Medina to go to her brother. We don't really know the details behind where and why, what happened on that journey. Often is the case that there's a misconception about her actually being martyred. Was she poisoned? Was she not? So tonight, inshallah, we will delve into the life of Sayyidah Masooma alayhi salam, be it commemorating her martyrdom, inshallah, with Sayyid Ali. Sayyidina, first, I want to, start off, before we get into the details, can you, describe who Lady Fatima is from a biography perspective, who her brother is, her father, and so on?
نعم أحسنت. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين إلى أبد الآبدين. First and foremost, I offer my deepest condolences to the Imam of our time, صاحب العصر والزمان عجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف, and to our ulama and our scholars and maraja, and to the believers and the lovers of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam in this very sad occasion, which is the martyrdom of a Sayyidah Fatima bint Musa ibn Ja'far, salawatullahi wa salamu alayha, otherwise known as Sayyidah Fatima al-Masooma. Sayyidah Fatima al-Masooma salamullahi alayha was born in the year 173 lil Hijrah in the city of Medina, and she passed away as a martyr in the year 201. So roughly she lived for 28 years. Of course, being a daughter to Imam Musa ibn Ja'far and a younger sibling to Ali Imam al-Rida salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi, they both had one thing in common, and that was that their mother was one individual by the name of a Sayyidah Najma, Sayyidah Tuktam.
Okay. The
wife of Imam Musa ibn Ja'far. Many know that Imam Musa ibn Ja'far salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi had a number of wives. And Imam salamullahi alayhi had a number of children. In total, historians and narrations narrate that Imam al-Rida and Sayyidah Fatima al-Masooma salamullahi alayha, they had 35 brothers and 35 sisters.
MashaAllah.
From different mothers. But Imam al-Rida and the Sayyidah Fatima al-Masooma shared one mother, which was a Sayyidah Najma or Sayyidah Tuktam. Now, Imam al-Rida salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi was born in the year 148. Sayyidah Masooma born 173, which makes Imam al-Rida salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi older than a Sayyidah Masooma by 25 years. So in the house that Imam al-Rida was born in, Imam al-Rida salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi lived for 25 years alone. Of course, I said there were other brothers and sisters, but from the same parents, he lived for 25 years until he had another sibling
Where was he at this time?
in the city of Medina.
Medina, okay.
Of course, Imam alayhi salam, Imam Musa ibn Ja'far received Imam al-Rida, or Imam al-Rida was born when Imam Musa ibn Ja'far was 20 years old. And we know Imam al-Rida salatullahi alayhi was the next Imam in line at a time where Bani al-Abbas had their eyes on Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. Imam Musa ibn Ja'far was in and out of prisons. Sayeda Fatima al-Masooma spent in the 10 last years of the life of Imam Musa ibn Ja'far. 6 years was alongside her father, and the last 4 years of the life of Imam Musa ibn Ja'far, where he was imprisoned, Sayeda Fatima al-Masooma salamullahi alayha and the other siblings were under the care and responsibility of Imam al-Rida.
Okay, as the elder brother.
As the elder brother.
Because 25 years you mentioned, he had no...
25 years.
25 years, okay.
Yeah. So, Sayeda Masooma salamullahi alayha received, as the other Imams of Ahlul Bayt, when they have children, whether male or female, they would themselves take care of their education. So she was educated by an Imam who happened to be her father, and she received many of her knowledge from her father, Imam Musa ibn Ja'far, and thereon, after that, from her brother, Imam al-Rida, salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. So, this is a general biography of this great and honorable individual who is someone, unfortunately, and let me, before you continue your question, she is an individual who is highly revered in the Shia world and the Islamic world. And we'll come to discuss why. But it's unfortunate, Mullah, as you may already know, like these days, there is this discrepancy in
the day of her martyrdom.
The day of her martyrdom. Hence, we do not see many centers, we do not see many organizations, we do not see many of the faithfuls, at least in this part of the world that we are in, sitting down and commemorating and remembering this great honorable lady, as Sayeda Fatima al-Masooma. And we have to highlight her position. We have to share some of the status of this individual to our brothers and sisters, the viewers of Imam Hussein TV, so they know that this individual is not a normal individual. She ranks with the highly revered individuals of Ahlul Bayt from the women's side. Individuals like a Sayyida Zainab salamullahi alayha.
Oh, wow.
Individuals like al-Baneen salamullahi alayha. Sayyida Fatima al-Masooma is not an easy candidate when you want to come and look at the women of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam.
So in terms of her, I would say loyalty, you mentioned that Imam al-Rida alayhi salam had many different siblings. Why did Sayyidah Fatima al-Masooma then follow him to Mashhad, or try to follow him to Mashhad?
Sayyidah Fatima al-Masooma salamullahi alayha, as the siblings or as the children of the other Imams alayhim salam. Let's take an example. Why did the Sayyidah Zainab salamullahi alayha follow Imam Hussein from Medina to Karbala?
She believed in his message.
Because not only we hear and we read in the narrations or in history, in the books of history, that she carried the specific love and devotion towards her brother, that they couldn't be separated. No. But Sayyidah Zainab salamullahi alayha, being Sayyidah Zainab, the daughter of Ali ibn Abi Talib, at the same time she had an imam that she had to take care of.
Okay.
So Sayyidah Zainab, as the other Shia, as the other followers of Ahlul Bayt, they have a duty, they have a responsibility towards the Imam of their time. Sayyidah Zainab salamullahi alayha had the responsibility towards the Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, being the Imam of her time.
Yeah.
So same thing, Sayyidah Fatima al-Masooma salamullahi alayha, many make it seem as if, okay, it's true, she has a brother like Imam al-Rida. Not only a sister would leave, we would leave our homes, our towns, as many do every year on an annual basis. They leave their homes and they take their families and they want to go and visit Sayeda Masooma or Imam al-Rida salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi.
Yeah.
So here, let alone her knowing that her brother is still alive, but he is in a remote location.
How long until Imam al-Rida arrived in Khurasan or Mashhad?
Yep.
After did Sayeda Masooma come or try to come?
So Imam al-Rida, as history reveals, that he left Medina, the city, the holy city of Medina, towards Khurasan or towards Marw in the year 200 AH. He was martyred in the year 203 AH.
Okay.
Sayyidah Fatima al-Ma'sooma left in the year 201 AH. So 1 year
After. Okay.
Narrations and historians narrate that she and her other siblings and family members received a letter or a message from Al-Imam al-Rida salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi, saying to them, inviting them to travel all the way from Medina to Marw or Khurasan, where it's called Mashhad today, because he longed to see them. The letter stated that أنا مشتاق إليكم.
Okay.
This is one of the reasons that made thousands of the Alawiyin and the Hashimiyin to leave Medina and to head towards Khurasan. This was one of the ways that we understand why she left Medina. But what I tend to lean towards, and what the ulama lean towards, is that she had a responsibility towards the protection of the life of the Imam of her time. Because if it was merely for her love and devotion and the fact that she misses her brother, if she knew that her life was going to be in danger, she might have had to stay in Medina to protect the lives of the other members of the family of the Imam alayhi salam. But no, what I lean towards and what the ulama lean towards is that she played a very important role in highlighting the oppression of Bani al-Abbas that was practiced against Al-Imam al-Rida, because Bani al-Abbas and Ma'mun specifically, the tyrant at the time of Imam al-Rida, was trying to highlight that we don't have a problem, we don't have an issue with Al-Imam al-Rida. Why? Because I have given him the responsibility and authority to be the next one in line, my heir. So that was a tactic to quieten down and kill all the apparent revolutions that Bani Hashim or the Alawiyin or the siblings of Imam al-Rida were planning to do against Bani al-Abbas.
Then leaving Medina is her hometown.
Yeah.
I think all of the Imams had a yearning for Medina.
Yeah, there was a special connection.
A special connection. So how did she feel leaving? Of course, she has a responsibility, but if we can get any information on how she felt leaving Medina and going to بالنتيجة, in the end of the day, she's going to be in ghurba, which almost like a stranger. And that's what we call Imam Rida alayhi salam, a stranger in a strange land.
Yeah.
What was her feelings like going towards Marw?
Of course, she here was in front of different options, whether to stay in Medina, whether to travel to Khurasan and Marw. And she had to make a choice between the aham and the muhim. The choice that Imam Hussein salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi had to make. Imam Hussein didn't want to leave the holy city of Medina.
No.
He yearned to stay next to the grave of his grandfather. As the poet clearly states, ضمني عندك يا جداه في هذا الضريع. Imam Hussein didn't want to leave Medina. And he really loved his mother, even after death. That's why he spent the night crying next to the burial site of his mother, Fatima, saying, "Oh mother, I am leaving Medina." So here there was a choice, and Sayyidah Fatima al-Ma'sooma knew that she had the responsibility, knew that she had to play an important role in the, let's call it the revolution of Imam al-Rida, to outlining the deviation of Bani al-Abbas, specifically Ma'mun. So here she left Medina with, as I said, thousands the narrations narrate. As a delegation, you want to call it, as a group of Bani Hashim leaving Medina to go towards Maru. But that wasn't an easy trip.
No. No, it wasn't, no. So just a quick word to the dear brothers and sisters. If you're just joining us, you're watching Verses of Love, a program specifically commemorating the martyrdom of Sayeda Masooma alayhi salam. Today we've learnt so far from our dear guest, Sayyid Ali Nawab, the reasons why Sayeda Masooma alayhi salam is known to have gone towards Mashhad, reaching her untimely death. Sayyid, I wanted to ask, in terms of the name Masooma itself,
Yeah.
how did that come about?
That's a very important question, because many of our dear brothers and sisters, the viewers, might hear the word Masoom and their mind will travel all the way to the infallibles.
Yeah.
The 14 infallibles.
Yeah.
Of course, we know that there are individuals, although literally they are not given that status of being infallibles, like Sayyidah Zainab Salamullahi alayha. أنت عالمة غير معلمة وفهمة غير مفهم. But she did not receive that responsibility that required that level of isma. She was an individual who acquired the minor levels of isma. What is isma? Infallibility is the fact that you can or you would commit a sin, but you don't go and commit that sin. That's one of the meanings of being an infallible individual. Whilst on the other side are the fallible human beings, the fallible creations, which is you and me, and the rest of the creation. They are fallible. We make mistakes, we commit sins, God forbid. But here, the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, it's not that Allah has stopped them from committing sins and mistakes. No, He has given them that notion, but they themselves have made that decision to not go towards that mistake or towards that sin, God forbid. Sayyidah Fatima al-Masooma, she reached such a high level and status that she was titled al-Masooma, while her name is Fatima. Sayyidah Fatima bint Musa ibn Ja'far.
Yeah, sorry.
So she was given that title, al-Masooma, to highlight her status, where she was an individual of great influence upon the others. She had great knowledge, and she was a great individual in terms of highlighting aspects of ahkam and educating people at the time where her father wasn't around. Because sometimes Sayyid al-Imam Musa ibn Ja'far would go outside, for example, the city of Medina. That's other than the time that he was imprisoned. So the Shia, the followers of Ahlul Bayt, would all the way travel towards Medina. Why? Because the Imam of their time is living. They want to ask him their questions. So at one time, what the narration narrates, that they had all traveled to Medina, wanting to ask the Imam their questions. They had written their questions. They came, they knocked on the door of the house of the Imam Musa ibn Ja'far. The answer from behind the door was that the Imam is currently not present in Medina. What do you want? What do you have? They were all upset. They said, we want to meet Imam Musa ibn Ja'far. So as they were upset and emotionally distraught because they had traveled all the way to Medina and they couldn't find the Imam, as they were making their way back, they heard a call. They said, but in the house there is Fatima. Meaning that you can ask Fatima whatever you want. And Fatima al-Masooma salamullahi alayha, in those days she was 5 or 6 years old. So they had written their questions. They passed on their letters inside. As Sayyidah Fatima al-Masooma would answer their questions, write them down, give them the letter. As this group of people, the Shia, were making their way out, they meet Imam Musa ibn Ja'far salamullahi alayhi. And they say, oh Imam, this is our situation. We went to your door. They said you went in. but our questions were answered. The Imam knows, but he asked. He wants to show the status of his daughter. That not only an Imam from us would be able to transfer that knowledge that he has received from Rasulullah, but our youngsters as well. They told him that this is the letter, and an individual, they said that an individual by the name of Fatima, who is your daughter, she wrote the answers. He said to them, give me, let me see. The Imam opened the letter and looked at the handwriting of Sayeda Fatima al-Masooma salamullahi alayha, and said 3 times this very statement that was repeated by Rasulullah towards Fatima al-Zahra salamullahi alayha, Fidaha abuha. May her father be ransomed for her.
So there's a lot of...
to elevate, to show people, my brothers and sisters, if an Imam Masoom and a father is saying this about his daughter, what does this mean about us, the Shia of Ahlul Bayt, commemorating?
But why the name Masooma? Or is it just... Yeah, why the name Masooma? Why can't
because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them, as I said, this status, that so they status, would be able to refrain from the committing of sins, and also could be that she protects her Shia, ta'asimuhum, those who go and visit her, ta'asimuhum min an-nar, as the narrations narrate, as some of our ulama state that she is the only individual that had 3 imams emphasize on the importance of her visitation after her death.
Subhanallah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, can we hold, because that's a very important topic in terms of her visitation. I think it's massively important that people do understand that. But I just need to go to a very, very quick break. So dear brothers and sisters, if you haven't, if you've just joined us, it's been a fantastic conversation so far about the life of Sayeda Masooma. So many lessons that you can learn. It's absolutely amazing. But inshallah, we're not going to stop there. We're going to come after the break. After the break, we're going to be joined by Ali Hassan Jagani, who's going to give some small marthiyas or small nohas in honor of Sayeda Fatima al-Zahra alayhi salam, because it's her grandmother as well, and also the time of...
And we will show the link between Fatima al-Zahra and Sayeda Masooma.
So don't go anywhere, brothers and sisters. We'll see you in about 1 minute or 2.
Jiddu, I need to tell you a secret. I had an exam today and I cheated on the exam, and to be honest, I feel like it's eating me up inside as if it's haram.
Your father used to do the exact something and would always get in trouble. But you have done it now and cannot go back. I don't know if it is haram. Khair inshallah.
Thanks, Jiddu. Jiddu, I wanted to ask if it's halal to buy lottery tickets. They're so cheap and we could make a lot of money.
I don't know if it is halal or haram, but never think about something like that again.
Okay, I was just asking. Jiddu.
Ta'abitni, what do you want now?
I just wanted to ask if the sweet has beef gelatin, is it halal or haram?
You're supposed to check it before buying it, not after. I don't know if this is halal or haram.
Okay.
What now? I am trying to relax. Why do you keep asking me? تعالي هنا الخاطر الله. Just go watch Ahkam SOS. Any question you have, they can answer you. You can call them, message them, anything. Ask as much as you like. They can answer any question from any marja, okay?
Are you in court for raping English girls? Remember? You're here defending the paedophile. I'm here defending your dad. These women are here defending the paedophile. You're here defending...
We don't need a TV channel because we've got mosques.
We have Islamic centres that are always open.
We have schools teaching Islam.
Hijab is part of a school uniform.
Islam has come and it's established here in the West.
And everyone's happy.
They love us, our food, our fashion,
our culture.
The media is always on our side.
We've got plenty of English speakers, plenty of English books,
and plenty of places to go and learn in the English language.
Let's be real.
Let's get active. Be more involved.
www.imamhusseinfree.tv
Welcome back, dear viewers of Imam Hussein TV3. You're watching Verses of Love live, coming to you from the city of London. It's just gone 10:25 here in the UK. Wherever you are, inshallah, you have a lovely evening, morning, afternoon. It doesn't matter, because tonight is a sorrowful night. Contrary to popular belief, it is a sorrowful night commemorating the martyrdom of Sayeda Masooma alayhi salam. With me in the studio, I have my beloved brother, elder brother and teacher, Sayyid Ali al-Nawab, who we have delved into so far the beginning of the life of Sayeda Masooma alayhi salam. On that note, we also have Mullah or reciter Ali Hassan Jagani, who doesn't, I guess, has a very, very sweet and beautiful voice, and I'd love for us, inshallah, to benefit and to hear more of his voice. Firstly, I introduce Ali Hassan. Assalamu alaikum. It's very nice to have you in the studio. Thank you so much for coming. And I give it to you, inshallah, to introduce maybe what you're going to recite, and inshallah recite. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
As we've been discussing, the Nights of Fatimiyya have started as well, and the link between Sayeda Masooma alayhi salam and Fatima Zahra is undeniable, to the extent where there's recommendations that because Baqi and Sayeda Zahra's grave is not uncovered, it is recommended to go to Sayeda Masooma in the times of Fatimiyya to commemorate. And thus, in honor of her grandmother, Sayeda Fatima Zahra, just some poetry talking about the difficulties of Amir al-Mu'mineen when burying Fatima Zahra. صلوات على محمد وآل محمد
اللهم صل على
محمد وآل محمد قبر زہرا بنا رہے ہیں لی قبر زہرا بنا رہے ہیں لی اپنی غربت چھپا رہے ہیں علی کیوں کمر جھک گئی ہے مولا کی کیوں کمر جھک گئی ہے مولا کی کس کی میت اٹھا رہے ہیں علی اپنی غربت چھپا رہے ہیں علی ارے وقت تلقین زخمی شانوں کو وقت تلقین زخمی شانوں کو دھیرے دھیرے ہلا رہے ہیں علی اپنی غربت چھپا رہے ہیں علی. Just to give you a short translation to the first two verses, the first line of the first verse asks, why is the back of Amir al-Mu'mineen's bent, or why is Amir al-Mu'mineen's back bent? And the reply is, do you know whose mayat it is he's lifting? It is the weight of lifting his own young wife and young beloved's grave that's broken Amir al-Mu'mineen's back. And in the second one, it's saying, when the time of talqeen has come, Amir al-Mu'mineen cannot contain himself. So in silence, he's shaking as he recites the talqeen of Fatima Zahra, because the emotion is beginning to strike him. سامنا ہو گیا ہے کنفوز سے سامنا ہو گیا ہے کنفوز سے صبر کو آزما رہے ہیں علی اپنی غربت چھپا رہے ہیں علی دیتے جاتے ہیں غسل بی بی کو دیتے جاتے ہیں غسل بی بی کو हिचकियाले ते जा रहे हैं अली अपनी गुर्बत छुपा रहे हैं अली कब्र ज़हरा बना रहे हैं अली अपनी गुर्बत छुपा रहे हैं अली رحم الله من يقرأ سورة المباركة الفاتحة.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Ahsant Ali Hassan Jagani for that rendition, the recitation in honor of Sayeda Fatima al-Zahra alayhi salam. Now, Sayyidina said, Ali, there is a link between Sayeda Fatima al-Masooma and Fatima Zahra grandmother, because her father was Imam al-Kadhim, right?
Yeah.
But before we get into that link and the status of Sayyida Masooma, could you tell us just a bit more? I know you mentioned a few stories about her knowledge. Could you tell us a bit more about her knowledge and perhaps how we can implement that, what lessons that we can learn from her knowledge into our lives today, especially for the women and the sisters?
Ahsant. What is apparent that anyone that is educated by the Imams of Ahlul Bayt, they would save in their minds the whole notion of the seerah, the history of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. So they would be one of those individuals who will be able to reveal and narrate the lifestyles of the infallible Imams of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, and they themselves would become narrators. How would someone be called a narrator of hadith? As by transcribing or transferring what they have heard from the Imams of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam to normal individuals, to normal people. Ruwatul Hadith. Sayeda Fatima al-Masooma, salamullahi alayha, she is a rawi of hadith. Now, someone might ask that is this something specific to those individuals who only lived at the time of the infallibles, or could someone in this day and age become a rawi of hadith? The answer is yes.
Okay.
Your name could join the names of the chain of narrators. For example, 10 years, 20 years down the line, scholars would be able to come and say, I heard my teacher so-and-so, who heard from his teacher so-and-so, until the chain of narrators reaches Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. Al-Imam al-Rida salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi is well known to have narrated a narration by the title of As-Silsila al-Dhahabiyya, the golden chain narration.
Yeah.
Now, what is this golden chain narration? This golden chain narration means that the silsila, the chain, the silsila of narrators are of a golden status. They are special individuals.
Yeah.
So this golden chain narration or hadith as-silsila al-dhahabiyya is a narration that Imam al-Rida, when he arrived to Nayshabur on his way to Maru, and the ulama from both sides, the Shia and other schools of thought, came in their hundreds and thousands wanting to narrate one thing from the Imam alayhi salam.
Oh, wow.
They asked the Imam, Ya ibn Rasulillah, narrate to us a narration. And the Imam brings his head out of his hodaj and says, Kalimatu la ilaha illallah, hisni faman dakhala hisni amina min adhabi. And then the Imam goes back into his hodaj, into his caravan, or his compartment.
Yeah.
The qafila goes up a little bit, speeds up. the qafila, the caravan stops. The Imam brings his head out once again. And he says, walakin, you want to be inside this fortress? By holding on to kalimatu la ilaha illallah. You as a Muslim, you as a believer, you want to hold on to this fortress. You want to be inside this fortress. You want to be protected by kalimatu, the word la ilaha illallah. But the Imam said, walakin, but, there is a but to it. بشرطها وشروطها. There is a condition to you believing in la ilaha illallah. And then the Imam points towards his chest and says, وَأَنَا مِن شُرُوطِهَا. I am one of the conditions. So what I am trying to get at is that what is the link between this golden chain narration that the Imam narrates and between Sayeda Fatima al-Masooma, the younger sister of Imam al-Rida, being titled as one of the narrators, Rawiyatul Hadith, because she has also a golden chain narration.
Okay.
But the Imam's golden chain was Sami'tu Abi, Musa ibn Ja'far. Sami'a min Abihi al-Imam al-Sadiq. Sami'a min Abihi al-Imam al-Baqir, until the chain of narration reaches al-Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib, Rasulullah, al-Lawh, al-Qalam, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sayeda Fatima al-Masooma has a golden chain narration where she narrates many narrations. One of the narrations that she narrates is the whole event of Ghadir. Al-Allama Sheikh Abdul Hussein al-Amini, in his book Al-Ghadir, Mawsu'atul Ghadir, the compilation of the events of Ghadir, I think is in volume 1, where he states that the ulama today, or the ulama 50, 60 years ago, when they want to come and study the chain of narrators of the event of Ghadir, one of the narrations that inform us about the event of Ghadir and how Rasulullah in Ghadir Khum held the hand of Ali ibn Abi Talib and said, Ala wa man kuntu mawlah fahada aliyun mawlah, Allahumma wali man walah wa adi man adah. One of the narrators in that chain of narration is Fatima al-Masooma salamullahi alayha.
Really?
So where did she hear that narration from? There is a big gap.
That's what I'm saying.
Between Ghadir and between
200 years.
173. Is that she, again, the golden chain starts here. She says, I heard from my sisters who heard from Fatima ibnatul Imam al-Sadiq. So Fatima, daughter of Imam Musa ibn Ja'far, hears a narration that was narrated by the daughter of Imam al-Sadiq, who was named Fatima, the sister of Imam Musa ibn Ja'far, who that Fatima heard and narrated that narration from Fatima, the daughter of Imam al-Baqir, and then the Fatima, daughter of Imam al-Baqir, heard Al-Imam Zainul Abidin, Al-Imam Zainul Abidin's daughter Fatima heard from Al-Imam al-Hussein, the daughter of Al-Imam al-Hussein, Fatima or Sukaina, who narrates that from Fatima, the daughter of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, who was present in Ghadir Khum, and narrates that narration.
That's fantastic.
That's the golden narration, the golden chain narration, narrated by Fatima al-Masooma salamullahi alayha.
Yeah. This is...
There is another narration, which we always mention in our majalis. Ala wa man mata ala hubbi ali Muhammadin mata shahidan.
Okay.
That narration is narrated. One of the narrators is Fatima al-Masooma salamullahi alayha.
Subhanallah.
So there are narrations that reveal the status of Ahlul Bayt.
This is a great lady then.
Yes, she's a alima.
She's a alima, yeah.
Yani if you revere a Sayyida Zainab bint Ali ibn Abi Talib, why do you not come and revere this great individual who was also a alima? She was a alima at the age of 5 and 6. She covered for her father Musa ibn Ja'far while he was away from Medina. While her brother Ali ibn Musa was in Marw, although Imam al-Jawad was present, but she would also teach and educate people in Medina.
Yeah.
So here, this is an individual, unfortunately, not enough light is shed on her life.
No, there isn't.
And we know very little, unfortunately.
That's what I was going to say.
And there are individuals, unfortunately, they only tend to commemorate Fatimiyya. We are in Fatimiyya. Subhanallah, her martyrdom coincides with the martyrdom of her mother Fatima al-Zahra salamullahi alayha. And it's as if to highlight and to outline that as my grandmother Fatima al-Zahra was madluma, was oppressed, I am also madluma, but in another way.
I mean, there's a lot of parallels that I can bring when it comes to the life of Sayyidah Zainab alayhi salam, even to a certain extent. So al-Banin is not a direct family relative as close as Sayyidah Fatima Masooma, daughter of an Imam, brother of an Imam.
No.
But are there any parallels that we can draw between Sayyidah Zainab and Sayyidah Fatima Masooma? I mean, one of them is that she followed her brother as not just followed her brother because it's a family member, but followed her brother because she acknowledged that he is the Imam of the time.
Yeah.
Right? Any other parallels that we can draw, maybe?
The first is that, for example, Sayyidah Zainab's teacher was her father Ali ibn Abi Talib and her mother Fatima al-Zahra. Now I highlighted, because you asked me about her father, about the father of Sayyidah Fatima Masooma, but also one of her teachers was her mother, Sayyidah Najma. Sayyidah Najma was a very highly revered and a scholar and a respectable, knowledgeable individual. So she also taught her daughter, Sayyidah Fatima al-Masooma salamullahi alayha. So her father an Imam, her brother an Imam, and her nephew an Imam. When you read the ziyarah of Sayyidah Masooma salamullahi alayha, you say, Assalamu alayki ya yabnata Imam, wa ya ukhta al-Imam, wa ya ammata al-Imam.
She's an auntie of an Imam.
She is the sister of Imam al-Rida.
Yeah.
And Imam al-Rida has Imam al-Jawad.
Imam al-Jawad.
So Imam al-Jawad's auntie is Sayyidah Fatima al-Masooma.
Was she alive when Imam al-Jawad was alive?
Yes.
She was?
She was.
So that means she must have witnessed his imamah as well, because he was 5 years old when he was an imam.
No, because here we will come to discuss, did Sayyidah Masooma salamullahi alayha die before al-Imam al-Rida's death, or did she die after the death of al-Imam al-Rida?
Oh, okay, so that's another question.
So Imam al-Jawad's imamah would start when? After the death of the previous imam.
Yeah.
But there is a very highly revered narration and tradition that most of the ulama go towards, is that Sayyidah Fatima al-Masooma salamullahi alayha was killed before her brother Imam al-Rida was killed and became a martyr. So here Sayyidah Zainab, the daughter of an Imam, the sister of an Imam, and the auntie of an Imam. Right? Sayyidah Zainab had a role to play during Ashura and after Ashura. Sayyidah Masooma salamullahi alayha, after Imam al-Rida was taken from Medina,
she had a role to play.
She had a role to play in Medina. People came back to her because now there is a vacuum. There is no Imam amongst us anymore, at least in Medina. Who do we go back to in regards with the teachings, in regards with the orders, in regards with people to be directed towards the right path? Here, Sayyidah Fatima al-Masooma salamullahi alayha played a very important and vital role. Why? You might tell me, where was Imam al-Jawad then? I will tell you that Bani al-Abbas had placed hundreds, if not thousands, of eyes of spies around that very house. Although they've taken the head of the house, the head of the family, the leader, the Imam away, but they still know that this family is not a normal family. The brothers of the Imam, the sisters of the Imam, they are still able and capable of causing revolutions because they are from the same household. So here, Sayyidah Fatima al-Masooma was also someone who the Shia would come back to, but also an individual who the enemies of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam feared from.
Right. In this little time that we have, Sayyidina, I genuinely have like 100 more questions that I want to know about Sayyidah Fatima Masooma. It's been a very riveting conversation with you, Sayyidina. Thank you so much. But in terms of the last moments of her life, could you explain and tell us, lamenting the loss of Sayyidah Masooma?
Drawing closer to the whole situation of her death, when she, in the year 201, is the same year that she died, she was killed in. When she left the city of Medina alongside the other siblings, the family members, they divided themselves into two groups. Now that Bani al-Abbas are chasing us, are making us literally homeless, taking our father, taking our family members and executing them, no doubtly they are going to come back and want to annihilate us. So this family was divided into two. One group number one, took Shiraz as a route to reach Khurasan. And the second group, which Sayyidah Fatima al-Masooma was part of, took the route of Ray and Sawa, which is in the outskirts of city of Qom. Ray today is Tehran. Sawa is one of the cities outside the city of Qom.
Okay.
So when Sayyidah Fatima al-Masooma reaches the outskirts of the city of Sawa, or narration narrates Ray, Ma'mun al-Abbasi sends 10,000 soldiers to either stop this caravan, send them back to Medina, or if they do not do as Ma'mun wants, he had ordered his generals to kill and annihilate everyone there and then. Sayyidah Masooma salamullahi alayha arrives in the area of Maru and the area of Ray or Sawa. The army of Bani al-Abbas come. They try to send back this group to Medina. They refuse. So they kill all the men there and then in front of the eyes of Sayyidah Masooma salamullahi alayha, being her brothers and her family members.
So this is the parallel to Sayyidah Zainab as well then.
The other group number one, who took the route of Shiraz, they were also ambushed.
Yeah.
That's why we have individuals from the family members of Al-Imam al-Rida. His brothers are buried in Shiraz as well. That group was ambushed as well, and they were annihilated. So here, the Sayyidah very quickly sends one of her maids. She says, how far are we from Qom? Because she couldn't continue the route anymore. Her family members were killed. She says, how far are we from Qom? Because she had heard narrations from Imam al-Sadiq speaking that the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam have a sanctuary in Qom.
Okay.
So they tell her, you are approximately between 50 to 55 kilometers away from Qom. So she says, take me to Qom. But before she does, she sends one of the maids. She says, go and check out the situation in Qom.
Yeah.
She goes to Qom, that maid. She sees that the city of Qom is all closed, shut. The doors and the walls have been covered in black, and the black flags are up, and there are people mourning.
Mourning, yeah.
She investigates. One of the tricks of Ma'mun was to stop people, to fear and to stop people from following Imam al-Rida. He had announced that Imam al-Rida had been killed. So that news was received by Sayyidah Masooma from her maid.
Yeah.
That her brother was killed. Her whole goal was to reach Mashhad. She says, my brother's been killed. I might as well stay in Qom the remainder of my time. Bani al-Abbas noticed that the daughter of Imam Musa ibn Ja'far is still alive, and she's still conveying the message and the oppression practiced by Bani al-Abbas, so they give her poison. And she falls ill. She was received by the Ash'arites, the Shia in Qom. She lived in the house of an individual by Musa ibn Khazraj.
Khazraj, yes.
Al-Ash'ari. She lived there for 16 days.
And then she passed away.
In the city of Qom, there is a masjid where she was participating and praying and supplicating Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For 16 days she remained there. And then she passed away where she is currently buried, she is not the only member of Ahl al-Bayt buried there. Some of the daughters of Al-Imam al-Jawad
Subhanallah.
are buried alongside the Sayeda Masooma salamullahi alayha. And this is the madlumiyya, this is the oppression. As the Sayeda Masooma passed away, all ghariba, all lowly, in the city of Qom, none of her family members around her, Sayeda Fatima al-Zahra salamullahi alayha passed away in that very lonely way.
Yeah. Sayyidina, I wish we could...
I know we are short of time.
Yeah.
Wanted to
maybe
concentrate.
a minute or two, maybe if you have anything lamentation-wise, because this is we cannot stop here, because what you've described is exactly the life of Sayyidah Zainab in a way, because she saw her brothers ambushed. You know, she was in a lonely place in Syria and all that. So maybe a couple of minutes in honor of Sayyidah Fatima. She deserves it.
فاطمة أيتها المعصومة يا سيدتي ومولاتي اشفعي لنا في الجنة فإن لك عند الله شأن من الشأن. Mullah Ali, I would only say this one piece of Masa'ib. I say, Mullah Ali, my dear brothers and sisters, many of you have sisters. Many of you have family members who, if they go away, you do not see them for a month or two. Your heart, your soul will yearn to see your sister, your family member. Al-Imam al-Rida was waiting for that moment to see his sister Fatima al-Ma'sooma, because she resembled his grandmother Fatima al-Zahra. He loved his sister very much. Again, Sayyidah Fatima al-Ma'sooma was longing to see her beloved brother Al-Imam al-Rida. But I say, Sayyidati, oh Fatima al-Ma'sooma, you only heard the news that your brother had been killed. You never saw the body of your brother Al-Imam al-Rida in front of you. Not only that, you did not have to see the body of your brother being cut into pieces before your eyes. The Shia, the Mu'alin, they came, they washed and prepared the body of your brother Al-Imam al-Rida. But asafi alayki, my heart breaks for that sister that had to see before her Shibr sitting on the chest of her brother Hussein. Oh Fatima al-Ma'sooma, my closing statement, you did not have to travel from Kufa to Sham with the head of your brother being paraded before you on the head of a spear. But Zainab bint Ali, the little children, the little orphans, had to witness the head of Abi Abdullah was being paraded between the caravan from Karbala to Kufa, from Kufa to Sham.
We leave you with Ali Hassan Jagani for the last couple of minutes, inshallah, in honor of Sayyidah Fatima Zahra.
पहलू भी शिकस्ता है, तुर्बत भी शिकस्ता है, पहलू भी शिकस्ता है, तुर्बत भी शिकस्ता है, क्या हाल ایسی کوئی دنیا میں مستور نہیں دیکھی 18 برس میں ہی لگتی جو ضعیفہ ہے پہلو بھی شکستہ ہے تربت بھی شکستہ ہے تو روتی رہی گھر میں حیدر سے بھی چھپ چھپ کے عصمت کی طرح دکھ بھی پردے میں رہتے رہے کچھ درد تیرے بی بس جانتی فضا ہے پہلو بھی شکستہ ہے تربت بھی شکستہ ہے دو ایسے جنازے ہیں تاریکی میں جو اٹھے بس گئے کہ ہی لوگوں نے دونوں کو دیے کاندھے ایک فاطمہ زہرا ہے ایک بالی سکینہ ہے پہلو بھی شکستہ ہے تربت بھی شکستہ ہے صلو علی محمد و آل محمد
Many thanks to Ali Hassan Jigani for his recitations, but of course a massive thank you to Sayyid Ali al-Nawab. Sayyid Ali al-Nawab for his really detailed understanding of Sayyidah Fatima Masooma alayhi salam. I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that she is the intercessor for him, for Brother Ali Hassan, for you the dear viewers at home as well, and for myself inshallah. With that, I bid you a very good evening, and inshallah we will see you soon.